Hey guys, it's Brian from Bend Dyno. Today we're going to run down a typical Holley EFI installation, what the parts we use and need to run this Wegner 427 LS with a 3-liter Whipple supercharger and their front drive assembly. So this particular setup is going in a 69 Camaro, advertised at 1200 horsepower on E85. All right, so in this project we're going to be using the Holley Dominator ECU. We can control fuel, spark, throttle body, transmission controls, pretty much anything that we need to run the car. This is the best top-of-the-line EFI control system that's on the market right now. So these ECUs are robust enough to be mounted in the engine bay or inside the car, whatever your application needs. We have the Holley EFI main harness. Again, this is for an LS7 based engine. All the connectors, everything that we need to plug into that engine over there. So here's the main power harness, power and ground, that goes directly to the battery. The integrated fuse connector plugs directly into the Holley itself, right here. Here's an NTK wideband sensor. We're actually running 2 of these sensors on this car, 1 for each bank. Here's the adapter harness that we need to plug in an additional sensor. Here is our USB to CAN communication harness. So this will plug into the main harness and let us tune the vehicle from inside the car. Here's a 0 to 100 PSI stainless steel pressure sensor. We typically monitor fuel pressure and make sure everything's good. We can build in safeties. If our fuel pressure starts to drop, we can actually shut the car down and build in safety so we don't melt this really expensive engine down. We also have the injector harness right here. We have our drive-by-wire cable here. This then plugs into the Holley, the throttle body, and then to our accelerator pedal. As we mentioned before, these MSD solid states we use to control pretty much every output that we're going to use to run on this vehicle. Cooling fans, fuel pumps, intercooler pumps, things like that. Really trick setup. Here's the actual intercooler or heat exchanger pump that we're going to run on this car with the integrated connector. This particular application, we're going to run a flex fuel sensor. So this is actually a GM flex fuel sensor, so we can run pump gas and E85. We're also going to run this Aeromotive flex fuel sensor adapter. What this does is allow us to install this flex fuel sensor on the feed side with enough fuel volume to go through and around the sensor and through the sensor so we can actually measure ethanol content. Otherwise, when we make that kind of power, this fuel line's too small. So we can't run it on the feed side, and sometimes it's a restriction. Also could be a restriction on the return side. Another trick piece that we have is this ethanol content integration harness. And we can actually plug into the Holley power tap right over here, and then plug right into our flex fuel sensor without any wiring adapters. All right, another piece we're definitely going to be using on this build is the Smooth Boost actuator and controller assembly itself. This Smooth Boost valve is an electronic bypass valve. It takes the place of this pneumatic valve and allows us to run multiple different boost levels while still running one single pulley. So we can run high boost, low boost, boost scramble, boost decrease, or with their 0 to 5 volt PWM controller, that's an add-on, we can run this 0 to 5 volt PWM control to run boost by ethanol content, by vehicle speed, by mile per hour. So we can run multiple different boost levels based on whatever configuration that we need to make this car work on the street. So we can actually run this smaller supercharger pulley and run this supercharger much faster and make a lot more boost, but we can actually turn it down using that Smooth Boost controller. Just one pulley, one belt, and you can run multiple different boost configurations. Also, every Wegner motor comes with their wires as well. This engine also comes with Wegner's front drive system, which is available on our website.
Everything you need to get your engine up and running is available at westbenddyno.com.